We are backstage live at the Arcada Theater in St. Charles, one of my all-time favorite bands, and I can't believe you guys are here. First of all, you took my name because I'm usually Mr. Big around here. However, Mr. Big in the house, making one stop here, one of 4 stops in the United States. I mean, I am honored. Eric, guys, I'm so honored. Thanks for
Thanks
being
very
here.
much. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, I don't, Billy. You've been here. It's so nice to see you again. You have such a presence on our stage that
Thank you very much.
it's incredible, really.
I was just glad to be here with Mr. Big, and we're having a blast on this tour. We just came from South America. We did a bunch of shows down there. Late last year, the first part of the tour, we did Europe, Southeast Asia, Japan, and we're winding it up here in Arcada. Then we go to New York City, and our last show in Los Angeles.
It's crazy. I mean, and then no, it really is
Big time crazy. South America, hotter than hell.
And then
coming out here into the cold. But
it's
we
6
keep
below
going.
0 today.
We're like the Energizer Bunny.
You
We just
are.
keep going.
So Eric, let me ask you. I mean, this has been quite a ride, absolutely for the whole band, of course. And I got to touch on "To Be With You," of course. Very huge hit, and you've got one of the most recognizable voices in rock and roll. Loving it, And but when it came out, '91, you're doing this song, and you guys are rockers. I mean, you're rockers, but you're hitting it big with a ballad. Which was that something you intended? Was it something you kind of throw in?
It was kind of a fluke. I mean, I had the song. I wrote it when I was 16, 17 years old, and I kind of rewrote it when I met Billy and Paul and Pat. I played it for Paul as just like, hey, look, I knew Paul played like the Beatles, so I played it for him, and the little song was like the little engine that could. It was in the back burner for a long time. For our first album came out, and then our second album, and we had all the songs written, and I said, what about this little ditty right here, and we all liked the song a lot, and we thought that it would be, because of our great harmonies, and I thought it would match and it would work. Anyway, we stuck it on the end of the record, kind of like I've said this before. It's kind of like all that meat and potatoes, and that's the little dessert at the end, But we didn't know that it was going to catch on like wildfire. We didn't know that at all. I mean, it went huge, and we already had this gigantic male audience, and it was great. It was like an underground, great rock and roll audience. And then "To Be With You" came out, and we were on the Rush tour, and they're pretty, pretty hard, a lot of dudes,
Yeah.
And remember the Getty and Alex and Neil came backstage and said, "Thank you guys for writing 'To Be With You,' because now we have girls come to our shows now."
right.
So
And
go ahead.
Getty's not the ladies' man. Getty wasn't much of a ladies' man, I'm thinking.
It all
Oh, come on. He's a handsome devil.
He is to his mom, I'm sure.
Oh, no, they were really great to us. So we had a great break touring with Rush when we first started. We did their whole Presto tour, and we did a bunch of the Roll the Bones, their next tour as well. We did some great opening slots. We opened for Bryan Adams, Scorpions, Aerosmith, a bunch of people. So we got some good breaks from bands like that. Helped us out a lot, and it was kind of a mutual thing too. Having us on the bill helped the show sell more tickets, so it was all good. So we managed to play all over the place, and to this day, we get people calling, "I saw you with Rush," and so on. "I saw you with the Scorpions." "I saw you with Bryan Adams." So that's pretty cool. And then we did a ton of stuff, headlining ourselves as well.
Well, I got to tell you, and just like a lot of stuff that Winery Dogs and these bands that have such a cult following as well. And I got to tell you, as a venue owner, and as someone who's like fielding the emails from fans, and I get them. I mean, we have so many shows here, and we get emails. Love the band, love the band. But your fans are out of control into you, and I know you know that. But
Cool.
I mean, it's such a big deal. I mean, it had to be amazing. Of course, being number one charting, but you're charting 20 countries, number one in 15 of them. I mean, did you just kind of get out of bed one day and go, what the heck's going on? It had to be like, and quick, I'm assuming, like all at once practically.
It was kind of, it caught me by surprise. I didn't really we didn't have the time to sort of, I didn't have the time to enjoy it. I was so worried about it coming off the charts, and we were busy. I mean, we noticed it when a lot more people started coming to the shows. Billy used to say this thing where, "To Be With You," and other songs that we've had, put stamps in our passport. We traveled so much because of "To Be With You" or "Just Take My Heart," and some of the other our kind of hit songs. So "To Be With You," and that was an amazing experience. But now I'm starting to enjoy it, because it's the gift that keeps on giving, and in so many ways. I mean, the audience still enjoys that song.
Love it. I hold on, little girl. I'll do that. Like when it comes on the radio, it's one of those,
Yeah.
jamming.
So does everybody else in the supermarket when I'm there. When I'm hanging out, and I'm like, and my sons are like, "Daddy, there's your song." I'm like, "Shh, quiet,
telling
quiet, kid."
In Chicago, when it's 6 below zero, I don't care. That song comes on, windows are going down, and I'm yelling it. Paul, Green Tinted 60s Mind. I mean, first of all, one of my top favorite song titles. I mean, it's just where does that come from? And I love your intro to it.
Nice of you, thank you.
I mean, I really do. Is that something, again, is that something you put a lot of thought into, or is it something you felt and it just kind of happened?
It was a long time ago, so I don't remember any of those things.
Good.
But,
And you really enjoyed it. Actually, really enjoyed it.
I think the riff to it took a couple hours to work it out because it was tricky, but I just followed the chords of the song. Actually, it was that crazy part at the beginning was the last thing I came up with.
Really?
First thing was just the basic chords. You had to have the skeleton before you put the meat on.
Sure.
Let's see, and the title, I can't remember. I wish I had a better answer, but it really was. When was that? 91 or something?
91. It's on the same album.
So it was decades ago. So I mean, I can barely remember yesterday. I can't remember yesterday. But tonight we're going to play it, and I will remember how to perform it.
That's important.
So-
the origin isn't as important
Yeah.
as remembering it.
But I'll if it comes to me, I'll send you an email with the full
Please,
complete
because,
story.
I mean, really, where's it come from? Man?
Actually, I do remember where it comes from now.
Okay.
It just took me a while. I had to
Okay.
shuffle through the papers. And it's not that interesting of a story, unfortunately, but if you look at old films, they have a certain, to my eye, a green tint to them. And I had this,
especially the horror films.
and I had this vision of the old, films. I was, I was born in the 60s, so, I saw some of the early, Beatles movies, and so all those were black and white, and the one was in color. But basically, as you can tell, I really don't have an interesting story. Fortunately, the song is a good enough song where it doesn't need an interesting story. It just
Well, the
lives
title
on its own.
itself. The
Yeah.
title is interesting enough.
Yeah, and with that, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Pat Torpy.
Well,
I agree with everything he said.
Pat, I gotta say,
Yesterday,
in honor of the Beatles, well, actually, John Lennon's 75th birthday, October 9th this year. Anyway, Pat, it's so good to see you, man.
oh, it's a pleasure
I'm
to
so
be
glad
here.
you're here. It's
So
going to be
am
a
I.
great night. And tell me a little bit about the stories we can tell.
Well, it's not really much different than any other Mr. Big album. It's like we always have. There's always a ton of ideas floating around, and even now, I mean, there's tons of ideas that we haven't developed in the songs. So when it comes time to do a record, we have things that we've jammed together. Eric has songs that he's individually written on his own. We all have that on our own ideas, and we just kind of get together and keep throwing things at it and come up with 15, 20 songs, and then it ends up to be a record. And the only process that changed a little different, I don't know if anybody's aware of, I had to kind of approach the recording a little different because I got a little situation going on. And I wasn't sure how it was going to happen, but with the help of these guys and our producer, Pat Reagan, it came out great. I was really happy with it because I didn't know if it was going to sound like me, because we had to do, there's some sampling and things going on because of my approach had to change a little bit, but I don't have the stamina that I had at the time. I mean, that I used to have. I'm getting better, though. I'm
You look
coming
great,
back.
man.
Oh, thank
You
you.
look great.
Hey, I've been eating like a horse, believe me.
Well, welcome to Chicago. We'll help you with that. We'll help you
So,
with that.
yeah, so it's all good, and I was really happy with it because, like I said, I wasn't sure how it was going to come out in the mix, especially when we started the approach, and then I was just pleasantly surprised because the cool thing about it, and what I've learned, and it's a lesson I have to learn every day, is that even if I play a song by somebody else, we're all seasoned enough musicians that we put our own stamp on it. We have a way. It's just it's a intangible that just seems to happen, and because of all of us have decades of experience, we can go in and come up with an idea and put our own stamp on it. I can tell you where all my ideas come from, but I don't imitate people anymore. I quit doing that a long time ago. And I think that's kind of why we sound like Mr. Big.
You definitely have your own sound.
Yeah.
It's very unique, and it's just so powerful. Just so powerful.
Thank you.
Speaking of powerful, do you ever watch your videos, especially like, some of the, and go, geez, what were you thinking? I mean, it was cool.
No.
It was
or like,
cool.
what are you wearing?
Yeah, I mean, that guy, look at my hair. I mean,
Yeah, wow,
that
look
kind
at
of
those
thing.
flames in those pants.
No, I love the black and white and color thing. I mean, that was
That was to be with you.
yeah.
Very Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
It really was when she opens the door and it turns into color. Very Wizard of Oz.
It's the first of its kind, I think.
Billy, what's going on with the Michael and Richie Kotzen Richie did his solo thing here, and Mike Portnoy's I think he's had 46 or 47 of his bands here that he's in. I don't know, I'm losing it. What's going on with the dogs?
We're just while I'm doing the Mr. Big tour, Richie's home putting a couple things together. Where I'm going to get back and work with them and finish a new record, and go out probably for the rest of this year. And I'm pretty lucky because I'm in my two favorite bands.
Yeah, that works out
And I'm in
well.
both of them. But this Mr. Big tour has been just an amazing, emotional, incredible thing. And we got people tomorrow night. They're texting me and emailing me, flying in from Germany, from England, from Japan, from Korea, from all over the USA to see our show tomorrow night at BB King's. It'll be our last show on the East Coast. And then LA, same thing. We got people flying in from all over the world.
We have people here tonight as well.
Pretty cool, pretty cool.
This is one of the shows we had to arrange more hotel rooms for out-of-towners. Really, it's something.
That's great.
Maybe that's why there's no room for us at the Baker across the street. I wanted to stay there really bad.
Sorry, that's the reason, actually. Well, anyway, guys, Mr. Big, I can't thank you so much for being here, not only to entertain us, but your generosity in doing this little interview for us. And I'm just, being a fan, I'm freaking excited that you're here.
Great, man.
Oh,
Thank you.
So
We'll do
break
our
a
best
leg
for you,
and Thank
Tom.
you so much.
Right on.
Backstage at the Arcada Theater with Mr. Big. We'll see you next time.